Urgent! Steelers fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Steelers break silence on TJ Watt amid trade rumors. TJ Watt is entering the final year of his contract. The Steelers franchise face a defensive cornerstone, a one-helmet guy. But with every passing week, it's becoming harder to ignore one simple fact: Pittsburgh is running out of time. On Monday, GM Omar Khan finally addressed the growing contract buzz, telling reporters he's hopeful Watt will retire a Steeler. It was a nice sentiment, but hardly the commitment fans were hoping for. Meanwhile, the edge rusher market has exploded. Myles Garrett just reset the bar, Max Crosby resigned, and now Micah Parsons looms likely to surpass them all. Every day Pittsburgh waits, Watt's price tag climbs. The organization's usual extension window is August as part of their negotiation policy. Since 1994, they've refused to handle contract decisions mid-season. But for a player of Watt's magnitude, one who's never won a playoff game and isn't getting younger, that strategy might be outdated, especially when whispers of a possible trade refuse to fully disappear. Yes, Watt wants to stay. Yes, Pittsburgh values him. But emotion doesn't stop leverage, and the Steelers could have saved millions by moving earlier. Watt's been loyal, productive, and impactful beyond the stat sheet, but hope won't keep him in Pittsburgh. Action will. And with every market-setting deal that drops, the urgency to get something done before Parsons resets the position grows louder. Time's ticking, and the Steelers know it. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest The Black and Gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Insider Steelers have fallen off pursuit of Kirk Cousins after Arthur Smith inquiry. All signs seem to be pointing toward Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. No deal is done yet, and Rodgers could surprise everyone and retire. If that happens, the Steelers might be forced to consider other options at quarterback. Kirk Cousins might be the best alternative. The Steelers would have to beat out other teams like the Cleveland Browns that could want to trade for Cousins. NFL insider James Palmer recently revealed some key information on Cousins' potential future. The Browns had called the Falcons very early in this process, I was told, and Kirk kind of squashed that to some extent, to my understanding, Palmer said Wednesday on Bleacher Report's YouTube channel. Kind of made it through certain intermediaries to get back to the Browns that he wasn't interested in going there. Doesn't mean that's shot down for good, but that's what happened in the beginning of this process. The Browns have been one of the most linked teams to Cousins. Their owner recently made it clear that the team thinks the Deshaun Watson experiment is over. That leaves them with Kenny Pickett as their likely starting quarterback at the moment. As Steelers fans know, that isn't ideal. Therefore, they're in the market for a quarterback. Browns HC Kevin Stefanski was with Cousins for a few years with the Minnesota Vikings. That's why it's a logical landing spot for the veteran quarterback. However, it doesn't seem like he's interested in going to Cleveland. Pittsburgh could be a nice destination for him if he wants to join a contender, but Palmer revealed that the Steelers don't seem very interested in Cousins anymore. The Steelers called and kicked the tires early, but my understanding is that Arthur Smith, being the former head coach in Atlanta, still knows plenty of people in that building, and kind of got the word on where things are with Kirk in terms of his play and where he's at in terms of his play as a quarterback, Palmer said. The Steelers obviously have fallen off. Given Cousins' play last year, that makes sense. He didn't look like the same quarterback. The biggest example is how many turnovers he had. In 14 games, Cousins threw 18 touchdown passes and 16 interceptions. That isn't going to work for Mike Tomlin. The Steelers head coach values quarterbacks who protect the football. Plus, Cousins seemed sapped of many of his powers due to the Achilles injury he sustained during the 2023 season. Also, the Steelers seem confident that they're going to land Rodgers, which would take them out of the running for Cousins. Although Rodgers also didn't look like himself last year, he started to play better near the end of the year. There's probably more upside with him than Cousins. However, if a potential deal with Rodgers falls through, the Steelers might have to once again consider Cousins. Why hasn't Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers? Breakfast ball Aaron Rodgers has yet to sign with a team, and the Pittsburgh Steelers owner said that he didn't envision it taking so long. Craig Carton, Danny Parkins, and Mark Schleith ask if Rodgers will sign with the Steelers and discuss why. It's taking so long.
Florio, high-level NFL employee, convinced Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play for Steelers. April is here, and the Pittsburgh Steelers still don't have an answer from Aaron Rodgers.
It feels like he's going to sign with them. Rodgers was even recently seen throwing to DK Metcalf. No one seems to know why Rodgers is waiting. Mike Florio has heard from some people in the NFL who have their theories on why Rodgers is taking so much time to make a decision. I had somebody suggest to me yesterday, and I'm just sharing what I heard, what this person's opinion is. Florio said Wednesday on his podcast, Pro Football Talk. It's not a fact, it's not a report, but it's somebody who is in the ecosystem and isn't
a low-level employee. This is a high-level person with one of the teams. The opinion is he doesn't really want to play for the Steelers, and he's waiting for Minnesota.
That would explain why Rodgers has continued to wait. At the moment, the Steelers seem like the only team interested in him. The New York Giants were also reportedly targeting Rodgers, but they've moved on. That leaves Pittsburgh as the only horse left in the race. However, that could change. Reports were that Rodgers wanted to join the Minnesota Vikings. However, the Vikings have decided to move ahead with young starter J.J. McCarthy. There was a feeling that the Vikings didn't completely shut the door on Rodgers, though. If they feel like McCarthy isn't ready to start, they might circle back to Rodgers if he's still available. This person Florio talked to seems to believe that. Rodgers could decide to wait to see if the Vikings change their mind. This would likely give Rodgers a better chance at competing for a Super Bowl. Last year, with Sam Darnold starting, they won 14 games. Rodgers could help them raise their ceiling. Signing him would probably leave McCarthy on the bench, though. The Vikings invested a first-round pick in him and want him to be their quarterback of the future. Delaying his crowning as the starter could hurt his development, although Rodgers could make the Vikings better right now. There's no way to tell if any of that is true. If Rodgers joins the Steelers, he probably won't tell everyone that they were his second choice. However, if he continues to drag this process out, even past the draft, then maybe he is waiting on the Vikings. That wouldn't be ideal for the Steelers. If Rodgers continues to wait or actually signs with the Vikings, their options under center won't be great. And now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for the Black and Gold. I'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.